Your first option for your 1-point perspective projects are these floating boxes. So these are a really cool option, and you can get pretty creative while still applying that technique that we learned in our introduction to 1-point perspective with the rectangles and the shapes. You can do this approach with just rectangles and squares, or you can get creative and do a bunch of different shapes like circles and different types of polygons and all sorts of stuff that you can do on here. So it's really up to you. I'm going to walk you through in this video a few just kind of step by step and show you how I do it with just several different boxes and how I kind of color them. I'm not going to have as many boxes as you're going to have because you're going to work to fill your page with an interesting composition using these floating boxes. So let's get started. The supplies you need are a pencil, a ruler, and your eraser, just like we had on our practice stuff. So you're going to need to have all these close by because you'll use them a lot. So I'm going to get started by drawing my horizon line onto my paper. I'm going to make it interesting and do it a little bit further up than I would just right in the middle, but I will put my vanishing point right in the middle of that composition. So I'm going to start here by drawing 3 different boxes. I'm just going to make these a variety of sizes and dimensions, but I'm always going to be using my ruler, and I'm also going to make sure that I'm getting a nice right angle if I'm doing a rectangle or a square. So make sure that you're lining up your ruler with the edges of your paper as you need to. And I'm also going to place them in a variety of locations. So I have some below the horizon line to the right. I'm going to put one right on the horizon line, and then I'll do one above it. So as you start drawing these, keep in mind that vanishing point and horizon line help you know what your point of view is. So that's going to help us determine what we are going to see of those boxes. So you're going to add your first converging lines, and I'm going to start with this one on the left. So remember to line up the corners of your shape to that vanishing point, and we'll eventually erase these, so don't draw them dark. Remember, make it light until it's right because you always want to be able to erase it. Once you get the converging lines where you want, remember we find that parallel line to create those sides of our 3D floating shape. Make sure that it's parallel and it's lining up to that edge of the shape that you are using it as. Then you're going to come in and erase those converging lines as you finish each shape. You're going to move through and repeat this on each one. Again, always keep in mind where those shapes are in relationship to the horizon line and the vanishing point. That's really going to help us know what we're going to see. So you'll notice that box on the left that I did, I'm only seeing that left side. And as I'm doing this one on the top right, I'm going to see that I'm going to see that left side, and then I'm going to see the bottom side. So sorry, that one on the left, I'm only seeing that right side of it, and then the one on the top, I'm seeing the left side and the bottom side. So then whenever I get to the one that's on the bottom right, this more square looking shape at the bottom, you're going to see the top and then the left side of that, because those are the sides that are facing that horizon line, and that vanishing point gives us that point of view. So once I have those 3 boxes completed and I kind of have a basic idea of where those are going to go and maybe where I want to fill in that empty space with more boxes, I'm going to start adding different sizes and a variety of them throughout the entire composition. So I'm going to do some that are taller and skinnier and some that are wider and shorter. And in a minute, you'll also see where I'm going to start making one that's even overlapping. So when we get to the overlapping one, we'll talk about those details. But pay attention and make sure that you are getting all of those converging lines and that you're always using those parallel lines to create the edges of your 3D form. So as you continue to work on yours, I want you to really get creative about where you place them, how you handle them. Overlap boxes, make it really interesting, make the sizes, make some like really big ones, make some really tiny ones. It's up to you how you handle that. Now I'm going to start adding a rectangle or a box that's overlapping. So I'm going to start below this one in the bottom right corner, and it's going to sit behind it. So I'm going to start that right side behind the box that's already floating. I'm going to make it taller than just that side that I drew first, so it's going to come up about a third into that other cube. So I still have to find that corner whenever I want to make these converging lines, especially that corner that's hidden, so the corner on the right side. So I'm going to line up and figure out where that corner would be using my ruler and make a light dot, and that's going to let me find where that converging line would go. I'm not going to put it all the way through the box that's in front of it because you're not going to see it. So I'm just going to lightly draw it on the side, like right there too, so that I can find where those parallel lines need to go. And just like any other shape that we do, we're going to erase our converging lines once we're done. So make sure that you get those light, and then once they're right, you can go back and outline them in a little bit darker way. So erase all your converging lines, and then you have this really interesting depth that you've created. And once you have your page filled with cubes, you're going to be ready to start with your color. So how I'm choosing to use color is I'm going to create different values of single colors with my colored pencils. If you have a really cool idea and you want to try some stuff with watercolor, if you want to do markers or crayons, you may do that. Just run it by me and let me know, and we can get that approved so that you can make it really unique and really make it your own. You might even want to do something where you make a monochromatic color scheme. The opportunities and options are like endless with this. You just need to get creative, and you need to make sure that you are filling your page with these really awesome floating boxes, and this can make a really strong, really interesting, and really unique piece of artwork. You can just get really creative. You can do all sorts of things. Again, if you want to try this with just different shapes, things like circles or hexagons or different types of polygons or diamonds or things like that, you're welcome to do that as well. Again, just run them past me. Have fun with this and really use this one-point perspective technique in a really effective way.